Hello guys, so today I'm just going to tell you guys about my childhood, the way I was raised up, and this quite sensitive topic for me. I hope I don't cry because I might find myself crying as I relive those times, but I think it's a topic and it's something that we need to talk about so that we impact the next generation positively. So yes, I was saying my dad was a kind, handsome man as I remember him, but it's really hard for me. I keep trying to recall the good sides of my dad, and I find it gets really so hard because the trauma I went through when I was growing up and the bad memories that I have of him also, I think so imprinted in my brain such that I find it just so hard to remember the good sides, but I do really know. I know he had a good heart. He was a guy who really believed in me. He believed in his children. By the all my life, I don't think there's any man who ever believed in me the way my dad believed in me. That guy thought I had infinite potential. So I remember that about him, and I love him, and I also remember how hardworking he was. I remember him going with him to the bank and him paying my school fees, and I remember him visiting me in school, and those are some of the good memories that I have of him. But for most part of my life, I have really bad memories about him. So you guys, even before I go further into this story, I want to tell you guys that my dad got sick when I think I was 13 years old. He got sick when I was 13 years old. He had a stroke that I know now that was directly related to his drinking problems. And from when he got that stroke, he died in 2017, I think 10 years later. And during that time, he was just a sick man at home, and I cared about him, and I was so affectionate about my dad during that time when he was sick that I ever was. I really enjoyed my company with my dad. I know it's funny to say because I was sick, but I really enjoyed taking care of him and being around him at that time, and the peace that was at home at that time more than I ever did in my life. So the stories that I am going to give you guys of my life before I was 13 years old, and it's funny because when I think about it now, I'm 28. It's really a long time ago. Like I was really a young child when these things happened to me, but they made such a great impact into my life that where I've had to heal from wounds that were inflicted on me that time until I was to even 26 years old. I remember I was still suffered from that trauma, and that trauma largely affected my life up to when I was 26 years old. I think my 27th year and my 28th year has been quite smooth and simple, that I've healed. I can say that I've healed from most of that trauma. So I remember I'm told that my dad wasn't always a drunkard. That's what I'm told. Actually, my mom says that when he brought us up, when they got married, he wasn't. He used to drink, but not as much. And I'm also told, I think, but I also think I remember some little bits about this. That when we were really young, my mom went back to school for 2 years, and she left 5 girls behind. I think the first one was like 7 years, and the last one was 4 months. We were all girls, and so I'm told that my dad took care of us, and I can remember snippets of this because I was really too young. I think I was 2 years or 3 years at that time. And I think I can remember snippets of my dad and him taking care of us. My dad never took us to a grandmother's house, and he used to employ nannies who used to come and go, but primarily he would always be there with us. And that is something that I know not many men can do, and that was something phenomenal for him because at that time I'm told he paid for my mother's school fees, and he also raised us. So doing that is something that I know it's great. I haven't met a lot of people who can do that, and I'm so grateful for my dad for that. But I can say that as I was growing up, I remember the first memories of my dad was the way he used to come home at night so drunk. And the dominant memory was the memory of how we would go to sleep even without eating when we realized and when we had my dad coming, because he used to come at night and he was a noisy man. So when he'd near our gate, he'd make some noise and we would know that it was him. And I remember us as kids, we'd rush off to the bedroom to sleep, whether we had eaten or not, so that he would not find us in the sitting room. Because if he found us in the sitting room, that would be a definite guarantee that one of us would get beaten or all of us would get beaten, maybe for some reason, school performance, we never did this or we did this. So my memories of him was that he would be drunk, he would come drunk, and then he would make a noise, and the moment you'd hear him, you'd all rush and go to the bedroom to sleep and to escape him because we feared him. And those are some of the memories I have for him. And then the other dominant memory I have for him is of him beating my mom. And when you'd rush to sleep most of the time, he'd come. I don't know what went wrong with his life. I wish I had the chance to know. I wish he never got sick, because if he didn't, a courageous person would have asked him, Daddy, who wronged you? What went wrong? Where? But at that time, I never got to know that, because I know he would always come so angry, like someone had wronged him, and he would express that anger angeitoa na sisi, yani. So we used to go to sleep, but we wouldn't really sleep. So we were in the bedroom and we'd just be there listening and hearing him beating our mom or making noise at our mom. And that really affected me. Also, another memory that I have about my dad is of him just pouring food. I don't know why he used to do that. And I remember every time he would come home, either he'd come and ask for food. If it wasn't ready, he would go to the kitchen and he would just angepiga hiyo chakula mateke, like just kick that food and it would pour all and we wouldn't eat. If that is when food was not ready, and if he found food ready and it's not a dish that he liked, then alikuwa naigonga na mkono tena inamwagika pale chini. And also he would go to them, he would take, we used to rear so many chicken at that time, and I remember him coming so many times in the deadness of the night and just angeenda achukue a chicken and he'd slaughter in the deadness of the night. And at this point, I was his culprit most of the time, because he'd call me at night, in the mid of the night, midnight, hata sikumbukangi hizo saa, and he'd tell me to help him chinja, and he would chinja and even eat it before, he didn't even wait for it to cook completely, and he would eat with me. And those are memories that I have about him. Another dominant memory that I have about him is him beating me. Oh my god. My dad beat me so many times, and I don't know why my dad, it's like he had a vendetta with me. I don't really know, or maybe I know at that time I felt like he didn't love me, but because every time he came in drunk, if I had not performed in my school, if I hadn't performed well at school, then he would really beat me up. He would beat me up. He expected me to always lead the school. That was something that he couldn't always do, especially with the trauma that was happening back at home. And every time that I would not lead or I didn't achieve the mark that he desired, Aki would really beat me up. I remember a time, and I think this was when I was really, really small. I think I was like class 3, and he came home and beat me so badly because I think I had performed badly. I think I was in position six, and he beat me up so badly that I started nose bleeding. And I remember that I was really small, because because I remember the school that I was studying, and usually in Vikadi started three, so I know it was either I was in class one, two, or three during that time, and he beat me really badly. I also remember I was used to be a cheeky person, so every time angesikia nimekosea, he used to really beat me up, and I remember all that too well, and I wish that I didn't. So he was a good man, but the way he treated us so badly, because I remember the time we had to worry about where he was. It's funny because when you live with a drunk person, especially if that person is your dad and you living with him, it's funny how you always caring about him, because I was always so caring about my dad. And I remember even at night I would hear dogs barking from I don't know where. I would start worrying that they're barking of my dad, or my dad wasn't something. Just I was so worried all the time that something bad had happened to dad. And also remember the times zenye alikuwa nalala kwa mtaro, yani I remember as my mom and myself, and sometimes my mom and my sisters going to look for dad because he has not come home for 2 days, and then they would find him in a mtaro, alilewa akajisahau akalala kwa mtaro. And I remember us carrying him back home. So it's really, they are not really good memories, but I was so scared. I was always so scared for my dad. I loved him. I loved him because I was always so worried that something bad would happen to him. But I was also so scared. I didn't want to tell him to come home because I didn't know what he would do when he got home. Up until recently, amkaga usiku kama nimeshtuka sana. Even my husband tells me, unamkaga, I would just wake up so nimeshtuka, like something has happened to me. And I now relate it to when I was growing up, and that trauma of ever wondering how whether dad will come and beat us up, or whether he'll just become or he'll beat mama up or something like that. So I remember such things, and they are really not good memories. But the worst part about that, that the way I grew up is that it came to affect me so much later in life in ways that I did not expect, and where I was lost. I was lost for such a long, long, long time, because for one, as we were home of girls, daddy was the only male person we knew, and for a long, long time I didn't even know how love looked like, how it felt like. I don't know. I just lived in a world where I thought love was problematic or trouble, like, or trouble. I don't know. Like, I would always create so many chaos around my life because that's what I had grown up seeing, chaos in my life. And up until for the longest time in my life, I would just create problems for myself. Like, even if my life was going really good, I would find a way to create trouble, like to make sure, like, that wasn't familiar to me. That wasn't how life was supposed to be. Didn't know these were effects of that trauma that I had gone through. Because if something was really nice, I would hide away to sabotage it. I would, and I did that for so many times in many of my relationships. I just didn't know how to love other people, nor how to love myself. I also didn't know how peace looked like. My entire life, didn't know how peace looked like. I didn't know how to live in peace. So when there was peace, like, I would feel, no, this is not how things are supposed to be. There's supposed to be some trouble somewhere, and really affected me. I right now, when I think about it, I understand. The more I grow older, the more I grow older, the more I realize that the more I get to understand my dad. I know that the reason that made him drink so much is because he was frustrated that he couldn't help his drinking. I remember my dad he was a good man. Let me mention this because my dad got saved so many times. Every time there was a crusade in home place. My dad would just go there, and so many mornings after he had caused trouble the previous night, so many mornings he'd call me and he'd tell me that I promise you I'll never drink again. I remember that so many times that I'm sorry, I'll never drink again. And he would really try for a day and maybe two, but he never really stuck up until when he got sick. So Sahi, the more I grow older, the more I understand the frustration of being unable to change, and the sort of letting us down as his family, maybe letting himself down and things like those. And I really do wish it was different for him. I wish he gave us a better childhood. I really do wish he did that, and I wish that he was able to overcome that, but he wasn't able, and it affected us. What I really do hope is that my family, especially my sisters and my mom, are able to heal, because that trauma can, it can just mess you up a lot, especially growing in a chaotic family where it's always fighting, argument, there's never peace. Living in such an environment near impacts us in so many different ways. And Sai, what I hope is that my family gets to heal from it. And my wish is that anyone out there, the reason I told this story in such a short while, and it's a short while, if I told the full extent of the story, will take a day here, and it would really hurt me so much. I don't want to relive those memories. So my wish is that anyone there, whoever lived with a drunk dad, with an alcoholic dad, you guys, I get you, and I know so much is out of your control now. Yani, your body, the way your body reacts to so many things is out of your control. It was like imprinted somewhere in your subconscious, and you're finding it hard. You may find it hard to love, to stay in a calm place. So my prayer for you is that you get healing. If you can see a therapist, if you cannot, please read books about healing from trauma and things like those, so that you can approach life from a point of healing. So you guys, nawapenda sana. Please be encouraged, and please comment and share about your experience if you ever experienced something like that. And nawapenda sana. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.